So what's your relationship with food is the question that I wanted to pose today in this video. And I wanted to also share my personal life story that highlights the challenges, the discoveries that I've made about food, and the road of constructing a healthy relationship with what you eat and how what you eat affects not only the way you look and feel, but the life that you want to accomplish. So, as a personal trainer and a holistic nutritional consultant, I see people kind of going through all of the phases that start with, I don't really care what I eat whatever, to really obsessing about food as a factor that kind of makes us gain those unwanted pounds, to then going to the understanding that food is really important for our health and well-being, and that it really affects our physical health. And then there's another phase that few people actually reach, where you realize that food is much more than that. That it's also an important factor in creating the type of life that we really want. I went through all the 4 phases, so that's what I wanted to kind of share with you and invite you to, wherever you are, start trying to go to the next level. So in my case, I came from Armenia when I was 14. I came to the US first, and I went from a culture where I was told to eat everything on my plate, a culture that really values eating as much as you can, to the United States, where I was really bombarded with all this information about fad diets, and you need to look like this, you need to look like that, you can't eat fats, you can't eat full fat products, diet product is the way to go. So soon I was really obsessed about food and becoming that person that I was saying on the cover of magazines. And even though I was able to a certain point accomplish that goal in a few years, I wasn't really feeling comfortable within my own body. I was looking the part, but I wasn't really comfortable within my body. And more than that, I started having a lot of physical issues and developed some serious conditions that took me 4.5 years to really not only understand and diagnose, but to treat. And none of the doctors that I went to were able to understand where the problems were coming from. And it took me years of studying holistic nutrition, lots of alternative practices, and sort of becoming the experimenter and trying out different food to understand that what was happening with me was really it started as a simple issue that I was not really digesting wheat products very well. What happens is that oftentimes we consume so much of the same thing, like wheat, for instance, and it's a type of food that's really loaded with toxins because it's mass produced. So normally wheat is the one that carries most of the pesticides. So, and it's a food we eat all the time. And so soon enough, my digestive system became really irritated by getting so much of that whole wheat. And I was also not eating, I was cutting out fats and things like that. Sometimes, fats are actually very protective to our stomach lining. So I was not getting enough fats, and I was not getting the healthy fats either. And soon enough, my stomach lining was suffering. It was exposed, and the particles of wheat started getting into my bloodstream. And I developed severe inflammation issues. I was constantly tired. I was getting sick all the time. I gained a little bit of weight. I couldn't breathe well. My mind was always kind of foggy. I couldn't think straight, and I lost all the energy I had. Always a very energetic person, and I was really struggling day in, day out. So it was really, the understanding that the clear relationship that when I was eating bread, it was making me feel bad. It's like almost a direct link that made me realize that I had to do something about it, and none of the doctors was going to help me. So first I did the elimination diet. So I completely cut out wheat from my diet for over a year, and I was able to rebuild my stomach lining. And then I was able to reintroduce wheat, but this was only after really focusing on holistic eating, right? So eating only foods that made me feel better, because like when your stomach is irritated, then everything makes you feel bad, right? Like it's coffee, acidic foods, all of those different things. So in the process, I became obsessive now about food, but not because I was worried about the weight, but I was worried about, recovering my health that I was losing with every day. I didn't have that energy, and I wanted to recover my health fully. And I realized how critical food was in that relationship. And then, once I was able to get there, I was still obsessive about food, but now for the reason that I knew that it was really shaping my physical health. And it was only after years of kind of enjoying fully, physical health to the fullest, and just feeling like I was really having this great relationship with food, that I was able to relax. And these days I've reached stage 4 where I know how important food is to my well-being, health, but I also am not allowing food to control me, right? I don't allow it to constantly be on my mind. And it's become sort of a flowing, intuitive process. So that's really what I wanted to, that's what I share in all of my programs, including the one that's coming up on July 21st, Reset 21, where we're going to talk about small steps, like what you eat is one of them, and how you eat it actually, that can transform not only how you, a couple of pounds here and there that you gain or lose, but how you feel every day, how you feel physically, and how you feel emotionally, because foods affect our chemicals in our body directly, and our hormones, and thus all of the emotions that we feel are directly related to the foods that we eat. So it's really important to realize that food can be our ally, and the rules are really simple. We don't have to overcomplicate it. I see people also, trying to go after the most, scientific studies to understand what's the foods, that's the superfoods, and what's the best diet. But in reality, intuitive eating is what I teach, and it's the way that you approach food as this, life-giving force that communicates with you. And after you learn some of the simple rules, then you're really allowing your body to communicate with the food, and the food to communicate with you, to help you decide what's going to be the food that's going to give you the greatest amount of energy, and to create the type of day and the type of life that you want to live. So I invite you to join me on July 21st to look at what we eat, how we move, how we connect to our body, and how those little things transform our life in really big ways. Look forward to seeing you.